So my radiotherapy vlog is here a lot sooner than I thought because unfortunately I've stopped responding to chemotherapy, so they've moved me off the drugs and they've started me on my radio. I've included sort of like what happens when I go for my appointment, and then I did a question and answer with Hannah, who's a student radiographer. I was actually exhausted on the day that I did it. I was so fatigued because I was fresh out of chemo. It was my second week in radiotherapy, so I was so exhausted, and I think you can see it in my face for some of the Q&A, so I apologise about that. I am enjoying it so much because compared to the chemo and the treatment I was having before, it is honestly been a breeze so far. I'm enjoying my life again. I just feel so good at the moment and I actually look forward to going in. Hopefully this will help if you are going through radiotherapy or you know someone who is, so yeah.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a student radiographer in my final year. I've met Daisy in this department. She's having her treatment here, and learned there were some people that had got some questions, so I'm happy to answer some for you.
So the first question is obviously, what is radiotherapy?
Okay, so radiotherapy is where we use high energy radiation to target where a tumour is or was. It destroys cancer cells, but we need to put a little bit of a margin around where the tumour is or was, just to account for any spread that could have happened. Unfortunately, there are some healthy cells within that because we can't make it so accurate just to the tumour. The way radiation works is that it kills cancer cells and they can't repair themselves, whereas normal cells can, which is why you come for treatment on different days, is to give those healthy cells times to repair. It's always planned by like your doctor and the physicist. You'd have a CT planning scan before you have your treatment planned, and that is looked at through any PET scans or MRIs that you've previously had. Then they look at where the tumour is or was, and then they would decide on the angles of where the machine would target the tumour.
What does it actually do to the cancer?
So the cancer cells will go through a different cell cycle. A certain stage, which is the S phase, they would become sensitive to radiation. So what the radiation beam does is it'll target the cell and then it'll kill it. The cell then can't repair, so you've damaged the DNA of the cancer, so it will just die. But some people would have it after surgery, and some people will have it before, and some people have it alongside chemo.
So if you have it after surgery, the tumour's removed, and then do they kill around like the area where it was?
Yeah, just in case. Yeah, just in case like one cell or two cells have got there. Yeah.
So how long does it take?
The length of your treatment is dependent on what the doctor wants. So there's different, it's called dose and fractionation. So as long as you get a certain amount of dose, which doctor requires over a certain amount of time, that's how long it would take. Daisy, I think yours is 5.5 weeks, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the doctor's planned for Daisy to have. But the actual session, so it takes the first couple of like 20 minutes, because
Yeah.
we have to just get you set up right. But the actual treatment is about 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on your own in the room for about 3 minutes. And sometimes we do an X-ray. Unfortunately, we can't see anything on the X-ray, such as a tumour or where it was. Just like a verification procedure, really, for us to make sure that we're targeting the right area.
Does it hurt?
No, you
No.
can't see and you can't feel anything,
No.
can you?
The first few days when I left, I literally felt like, have they done anything? Why did I have to go to Nottingham?
The other departments that are near Daisy don't treat sarcomas. The machines are all exactly the same and they all work to do the same thing. It just depends on what department specialise in what near you.
How is it different from chemotherapy?
Chemotherapy will kill all the cells in the body. That is to just get rid of any spread and to get rid of the tumour. Whereas radiation is literally just targeted to that specific area. Chemo will just blast everywhere, which is unfortunately why you lose your hair, eyelashes, your skin can become dry, and you can get really sick and diarrhea.
Chemo is obviously liquid, like a drug.
Yeah, injected into your vein, or you can have it as a tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
It's called
radiotherapy
systemic, yeah.
is actually like a machine, isn't
Yeah.
it? That
Shoots, yeah.
Are delayed side effects common?
Yeah, that is common. So the radiation actually continues to work in your body for a couple of weeks to months afterwards. All it is your cells, your healthy cells are just repairing, and obviously that takes time. They're not just going to, treatment's finished and then everything's okay.
How does it get to the tumour without burning your skin?
So it doesn't burn the skin as such, but it has to penetrate through the skin. So it does leave the skin a little bit pink. It won't be like a hot water burn or anything like that. It would just be a reddening of the skin.
I mean, I'm on my 9th treatment today and my skin still looks normal so far, but
Yeah.
they do say like for the first couple of weeks you don't really notice anything, do you? What's involved in the planning?
You would come for a planning appointment where, dependent on where you would have, the bed would be laid up to immobilise you to make sure that you don't move when you're having treatment. We need you to be as still as possible to make the treatment as accurate as possible. In that room we would do some tattoos. So if you were having like the upper body treated, you'd have 1 here and 2 here. Although Daisy's having her leg treated, she has 2 at the side, 1 on the knee for alignment. Some people have 1 on the foot as well, just to make sure that you're straight. Then once they're happy with that planning scan, it goes through to a planning system where physicians look at it, the doctor looks at it, and they plan where the beam is going to come in and where it's going to target. And that's all planned. And then the physics have a slot on the room for each patient where they run the treatment as if you were having it and make sure that it all runs right and the dose is delivered exactly where they want it to be delivered. And then we invite you in for your first appointment.
Do you have a cushion to keep you in place?
So not really a cushion as such. As Daisy will tell you, it's not a comfortable bed.
I wish it was a cushion.
So we, unfortunately, it's not that comfortable. So dependent on where you're having done, if you're having a head and neck, for instance, you would have a mask made, and that is slotted onto the bed, which is just to make sure that you don't move. Obviously there's movement, you can just give a little bit, so it's not like you can't breathe or anything like that. Breast patients, they would be on an elevation board with their arms above their head. It's just to make sure that the arms are out of the treatment area. Pelvis patients would have like a block under their knee and like their foot in like a resting space, just to make sure that their legs can't roll or move while they're having their treatment.
When you line me up and then you leave the room and then you deliver the radio, if my leg moved in the time that you'd gone back, would you know from when you were sat down?
We have a live camera. It's not recording or anything, it is just a live camera to make sure you're okay. We can't be in the room, so if we're in the room every time we would get too much radiation. We have a camera on you and a camera on where we're treating. Patients can give us a wave if they want us to come in and stop anything. Yeah, the other camera is on where the laser is across your tattoo. So if you have like a tattoo on, let's say, your leg, and the laser's going down, if that tattoo was to roll off, we wouldn't even deliver the treatment. We'd come straight in and just reset you up. You wouldn't ever get treatment delivered unaccurately.
No, because sometimes that is a bit of a worry when you're laying there and you're thinking, did I just move? So what are the tattoos for? Kind of already said.
Yeah, well, they're just to make sure that you're straight, and also where the lasers intersect in the room. I think you might see it in Daisy's video. I videoed it where the bed moves slightly and you can see the green light on her leg. So that is the treatment field, and that is where the treatment is going to be delivered to.
Will you lose your hair like during chemo?
You will lose your hair in the area that you're having treated, but it's body hair, so it will come back. Yeah. You won't lose hair on your head or your eyelashes or anything like that unless you're having treatment to that area. It won't be all over, it would just be in the area that you were having treated.
And does that then not grow back at all after you've had...
Eventually it can, but sometimes not.
Some people have asked, why do some cancers only have radio? Why do they not have chemo first?
Cancers are made up of different cells, so some cells are sensitive to radiation and some aren't. So some will have chemo radiation, which is together, and chemo is literally used just to make the cell sensitive to the radiation to make sure it is going to work. Some people will have surgery and then radio as like a preventative, just delivered to the tumour bed. Some people will have chemo first, which works as the same as surgery, so it is just going to kill the tumour and then radiation to the tumour bed. And some patients would just have radiotherapy, so it is just up to the doctor and what they have. And some people will have radiotherapy and chemo if they can't have surgery. They would have chemo to blast it and then radiotherapy.
So I've had chemo, which has got rid of nearly everything except for this one bit. So is that why radio is now the answer? Because that like just kind of finishes off the job.
Exactly, yeah. But Daisy's kind of already started on an empty tank, so you've come straight from chemo, haven't you?
Yeah.
Really, so you're going to start to become quite tired and quite sick, maybe. It's a very draining process.
The next question, will it make you feel sick like chemo does?
Normally it's just if you're having your like stomach area, pelvis treated, that it can cause sickness. But it depends on you. Like if you are really fatigued, you can start to just become sick because you're not really eating yourself. You're not feeling yourself. You can just feel quite low.
I was feeling quite sick in the first week, but I think it was, like you said, the fatigue and
bit of anxiety.
Because and because I wasn't sleeping because of the pain. What are the risks? So like, what are the main risks of?
We always say to patients that it's the fatigue, the erythema of the skin, like the reddening of the skin. It just depends on where you're having treated. So the doctor will go through any long-term side effects with you. The ones that we normally talk about is mainly just looking after your skin, sickness, diarrhea if you're having that area treated, headaches if it's head and neck. Daisy's suffering quite a lot of pain in her legs, so we would always prescribe something to help with whatever side effects you're having. We call them acute side effects if they happen quite, like when you're having treatment or quite quickly. So if any arise, then obviously we'd address them there and then.
Can you only have it once in your life?
Yes and no. So we only really give it to the same area once. It just depends on where it is in the body. Some patients will have a whole body irradiation, which is sometimes also just for skin. Some skin conditions can have that.
So yeah, if anybody else has any more questions, obviously just message me or whatever, and then we can get back to Hannah and she'll help us out. Thank you so much for doing that. That's been really helpful. There's a lot more to it than what I know, but I still know perhaps more than my friends.
Never had it,
so we'll go to the mould room and show you how that
cushion,
the cushion set up.
This would be for like a head. So this is the nose hole, and we'd cut out eyes and a mouth later. We'd go into this hot water bath, and then the mask would be moulded to you like this. So obviously this is a head and neck, so this would just be moulded around you, and then the treatment is targeted to wherever it needs to be. Got these bits which you have like to keep your leg in place.
Yeah.
That are put onto like a plastic sheet. It's all just filed by the team here, and then they just drill it to wherever they've lined you up. So yeah, this is where yours came once you'd had yours.
Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully it's been helpful, especially if you're about to go through radiotherapy or you know somebody that's going through it. Even my mum doesn't know what happens when I go in for my appointment. Obviously she just waits in the waiting room, so it's useful even for that if you know someone that's going through it. Hannah's questions that she answered were really useful, I think. If you have any other questions, please message me, because even if I don't know the answer, I can ask Hannah or I can ask one of the doctors. Yeah, let me know what else you want to see on my channel, because I want to do it to obviously be helpful. I'm not just doing it to entertain anybody, I don't know. And subscribe, and please share, just in case, even if it helps one person you know. That'll really mean a lot to me. So thank you so much always for watching, and bye.